Uh, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a participant, local and abroad. Okay, my name is Muzamir Muhammad. I'm currently attached to Nusa Network Consulting Engineers in Shah Alam. Okay, our tech session this morning, realizing Malaysian water security agenda through transdisciplinary and collaboration approach. IPASA experience. Yeah, for your information, IPASA is the unit in University Technology Malaysia. Okay, and I would like to introduce our speaker this morning. Will be Professor Dr. Zainur Noor. Right, she's currently director of Center for Environmental Sustainability and Water Security in UTM or IPASA. And I'll just scroll through the little bit of background. She's mostly into academic with the various research methodologies, technical, scientific, qualitative, quantitative, and partnership with the public agencies, private sector, community, students, right, and practitioner, and also in order to produce a research output of the real values. Okay, a little bit on the there are a lot of academic language here, so I will try to be as simple as possible. Her research approach works through a green technology, sustainability lens, and methodology, collaborative approaches to solve complex environmental challenges in the world scenario. So probably in her paper, she will go on detail what does it mean by the complex environmental challenges. I continue. Today, Professor Dr. Zainura has published more than 100 articles in terms of high impact journal, right? High impact journal. So this for the academician is something, a language they use for publication. Policy paper, conference proceeding, books, okay, books chapter and edited books. And she's also secured various research funding from public, private, international sources, which has amounted to, at the moment, more than 5 million Malaysian ringgit. Okay, and her expertise, Professor Zainura, would be the experience in water and sustainability field, which she has been appointed into various national committee and high-profile consultation with both international and national level, including the UNDP, United Nations Development Project, and UKRI, which stands for United Kingdom Research and Innovation. So I will now, we will now proceed. I shall now ask Professor Dr. Zainura to do her presentation. Okay, Professor Zainura, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Muzamir, Mr. Moderator. Thank you. I'm sorry that you have to read all these technical jargons. Trying to make my bibliography shorten, but yeah, coming out full of technical things. Anyway, let me share my screen. So I hope everyone can see it. Mr. Muzamir, can you see my slide right now? Yeah?
Yes. Okay, Prof. Yes, okay. Clear.
All right. So what I'll be sharing today is what has our center conducted. What the approaches that have been implemented by our center in terms of solving many complex water security issue at national and international level. Okay. So I am actually a chemical and environmental engineer by training. I have just recently been appointed as the director of this center, which is Center for Environmental Sustainability and Water Security, abbreviated as IPASA. Actually, IPASA came from the Malay version of the name of the center. And the previous name of the center, actually, it was now called Pusat, but it used to be named Institute. But because IPASA has so-called become a household name in Malaysia, so we decided to remain with IPASA. Okay, so you might be wondering why, because it has nothing to do with the center, right? Anyway, so these are basically my presentation highlight. We'll talk about briefly about what IPASA, because what I'll be talking about, the transdisciplinary approach, has something to do with how we organize, how we structure IPASA itself. And I'll give some basic explanation about transdisciplinary approach and how we could use that approach in water security, and then our experience in applying this approach in solving actual experiences or actual challenges in water security. Okay. So IPASA was established back in 1994, and it was we have about 12 research fellows, full-time research fellows with various expertise. We have both coming from technical sciences as well as social sciences background. And so we do all research consultation as well as training and supervision. And also we heavily involved in community projects. For example, environmental awareness program, environmental conservation, and so on. Right. So this is the organization chart. As you can see, we have various members, again, coming from, including myself, there are 13 of us coming from various backgrounds. And these, the diversity has actually helped us a lot in terms of solving complex water security issues. Okay. So these are our niche area. We are focusing on environmental sustainability as well as water security, and we try to map out all our initiatives, our projects with the Sustainable Development Goal. We are currently at least serving 5 of them, which is the number 6, 11, 12, 13, and 14. As far as the first niche area is concerned, the environmental sustainability, we are focusing on all the aspects of environmental sustainability, for example, solid waste management, water footprint, carbon footprint, life cycle assessment, and anything relating to geospatial as well, because we also have a geospatial expert in our team. And these are the areas under water quality enhancement. We're looking at wastewater, water regulation, our policy and regulation, water quality monitoring. We also do a lot of modeling on water, and we also try to relate that with other elements, for example, energy and food, and as well as water reuse and reclamation, and wealth to wealth or circular economy from nutrient recovery and biogas generation, for example. So I'm just quickly going to go and explain what do I mean the transdisciplinary approach and how that relates to our center. So all of us have our own disciplinary, regardless whether you are a practitioner or you are industrial players. We are normally focusing on our expertise. But as far as water challenges is concerned, or we're talking about water security, having one disciplinary alone we cannot solve the problem effectively if we are just relying on one disciplinary, on one expertise. So that's how transdisciplinary come into action or come into play. So what's the difference between interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary, and interdisciplinary? Well, you may have heard it before. I mean, at least we know that interdisciplinary means working within a single discipline. Cross-disciplinary is actually going a bit more, which is viewing from one discipline, from one perspective to another. Multidisciplinary, whereby you put different disciplinaries, different expertise together, but people are still working in their own area. Interdisciplinary is going a bit more than that. It's just actually integrating the knowledge from people who are multidisciplinary, but still, coming up with the information or coming up with the solution towards the end when people have come up with the when they are still working in their discipline. And transdisciplinary is, I think, the ultimate way of doing things, especially as solving issues such as complex water security, whereby not only you are integrating and synergizing among each other, but you are also inviting or inviting participation from stakeholders outside your circle, for example, community, industry, and so on. Okay, so if we talk about water security, if we look at the definition of water security itself, the water security is the epitome of transdisciplinary aspect. You have so many elements of water security. If you see here, the definition of water security, I have it on my slide right now, is the one I took from United Nations Water, UN Water website. This give the definition of what water security is all about. So the water security definition relies heavily on the overarching notion of transdisciplinarity, which also requires co-creation of knowledge and participatory approach. So it has become apparent that water knowledge is produced widely within the society across certified disciplinary expert and non-certified expert stakeholders and citizens. So what it means here is that if we want to achieve our country's water security goal, then we have to get all people from across community, all level of community, as well as all different expertise working together to achieve this goal. Okay, so let me give you some examples of our practices of current project, which we apply the concept of transdisciplinarity. Okay, so first here I have a project that is actually funded by the UK Research and Innovation, which is on water security and sustainable development hub. So this is an international project which not only see the synergizing of various expertise as far as IPAS is concerned, different researchers working together, but also working across countries. So we have 5 main countries working under this project. We have Colombia, other than United Kingdom as the leading the project. We also have Colombia, Ethiopia, India, and of course Malaysia. So we are trying to learn from each other situation, from each other challenges in terms of how we could better secure our water situation in Malaysia. So from what we have found that in most of these countries, although the scenarios are different, the problems are different, most of the time they stem from more or less the same issue. For example, insufficient data, unfit service delivery models, fragmented governance, unsuitable solutions, as well as limited community involvement or participation. So here, these issues require a transdisciplinary approach. So here as in Ethiopia last year, when we actually attend one of the meetings. So as far as this project is concerned, we are, the intention of the project is to actually realizing the solutions or to translate the outcome of the research into something that can be implemented. So we are focusing our studies here on Johor River Basin, whereby we try to incorporate the transdisciplinary approach into solving the main issues, the key challenges in the river basin. For example, we have pollution issue, we have water stress issues, you also have issues relating to flash flood and drought. So we are putting all the actors and all the elements together to come up with the solutions that can be that can be seen, the effect that can be seen in the next few years, right? So we are working, as far as this project is concerned, not only we are working among us, the researchers from various expertise, we are also involving community, government agencies, as well as NGOs to ensure that whatever solutions that we put on table is something that can, be agreed together. That's what co-creation or collaborative mean, and also something that is feasible economically, socially, and of course environmentally. Next, what we have done recently, I think at a larger scale, at a national scale, is actually developing, working with the with Ministry of Environment and Water to come up with climate change adaptation framework for water sectors. So the climate and adaptation, this framework has recently been launched in last June by the minister himself. And this project is actually pertinent, very imperative for the society and policymakers in terms of getting or having a framework to work with under the impact of climate change scenarios. So in developing this framework, our researchers work with, again, community as well as different government agencies and also NGOs to come up with a framework that is feasible, workable, and could be adapted by different sectors in Malaysia as far as water is concerned. So here are our stakeholders who we work with, right? So this was a successful project which have seen many so far has given a good response on that particular framework. What we have next, another type of transdisciplinary projects that we are working on, which is actually making an impact on the national and hopefully international level as well, is on contributing to Malaysia water sector transformation 2040. So under this particular project, we are focusing specifically on virtual water and water footprint. So first of all, what is WST 2040 for those who are not familiar with WST 2040, although this is, I guess, the buzzword at the moment. So slightly different from what have been I've shared before, whereby the funder and everything are directly related to water or environment. WST 2040 is actually spearheaded by the Economic Planning Unit Malaysia, because now Malaysia is seeing water sector as being one of the drivers in economy. So there's the current role of water sector. So they see that we need to put more emphasis on water as far as because it will enable economic development in the future. So it is hoped that WST 2040 will position the water sector as a dynamic growth engine, providing security, sustainability, and economic opportunity. So it is hoped that the next Malaysian plan, the 12 Malaysian plan, will be the foundation in catalyzing WST 2040 through the full-wide adoption and implementation of IWRM, or Integrated Water Resource Management. So again, looking at the different aspects of the WST itself, one could definitely see this requires the cooperation or synergizing of people from different backgrounds. So under 2040, they have identified, or the government have identified 8 game changers, meaning like 8 different aspects of water. So the one that we are working currently is on virtual water and water footprint, which is actually to prepare a comprehensive and quantitative data regarding current water demand, our water demand scenario, and the needs to identify how we could leverage on our water, the abundance of our water, to not only to propel our economic growth, but also to sustain our water security in long term. So these are, I guess I'm showing this just to see how these projects require the inputs of different actors, different expertise. Me, myself, from engineering background, also hydrologist and economist, statistician working in this project. And also we are closely basing our solution or verifying our solution while working with community government agencies, so that something that we offered on the table is something that could be actually done in the long run. Another project that I think also showcase the transdisciplinary approach of in water sector is what we call Malaysia Adaptation Index, or short as MAIN. This is actually done under Kementerian Tenaga dan Sumber Asli. So if you go to their website, this is you can see this on their website. So how do we play a role here? So what is MAIN in the first place? So MAIN is short for Adaptation, Malaysia Desktop Adaptation Index for Climate Change Adaptation. This is actually this index, or this index system is used to assess the vulnerability and readiness of different states, all states in Malaysia, to address the possible changes in climate change. So do not get confused with the National Framework on Climate Change. There was a framework to give a guidance, a guiding document in terms of how we should approach the water sector in Malaysia in the existence of climate change impact. But this one is actually to provide or to give a condition, or to show the condition in terms of vulnerability and readiness of different states in Malaysia in terms of, facing the climate change. So here, the main program formulate, analyze the vulnerability scores and readiness and compute that into indexes for each state in Malaysia. So these indexes, these indicators are based on not only the vulnerability of different elements of water, for example, in water ecosystem, the public health, agriculture, forestry, infrastructure, and energy, but it also look into the readiness of different sector, economy, governance, social, environment in terms of preparing for this climate change. So the combination of the vulnerability index and readiness index will showcase how, or will give an idea, will give a profile in terms of how a state in Malaysia is ready in terms of adapting the impacts of climate change. So this is what you could see if you go to their website. We are working with the big data company who are in developing the infrastructure of the website, of the data storage itself, but we are assisting, or we are giving, providing the service in terms of identifying the indicators, setting the targets, all the technical aspects of these projects. Okay, so basically, trying to stay within the time. So basically, that's it from me. So I'm leaving some other bit of time for question and answer. Again, thank you, Muzamil.
Thank you, Prof. Zainora, for the presentation and on the water safety, which I believe is not only useful for the local water practitioner, but also at the international level. Am I right, Prof?
Yes. Well, we are trying what happened from, for example, for the first project. It's like we are trying to learn from other countries as well. What are the aspects, are the issues behind the water security problem, so that we can use their experience to better understand and provide better solutions for our own country. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Prof. Before that, I, on behalf of the organizer, would like to congratulate Prof. Zainora for the new appointment. Okay. And okay, well, Prof. Zainora, I was looking at the 8 game changer slides, right?
Mm-hmm.
What actually I would like to I'm really interested actually the industrial 4.0.
Right.
Right. Yeah. How would you go about this inter-industrial relation 4.0 in terms of local context and also at the international? 2 minutes.
Okay, right. Okay, because the project itself is not under me. It's led by a different, this is actually led by another expert under the Academy of Sciences. But what the project intends to do is actually looking at what kind of infra or soft technology that we would be needing in terms of facing the challenges of IR 4.0, for example, data storage, and also hard infrastructure, like should we build new dams to cater for the demands in the future, and so on. So, taking the data, doing stock taking of existing data, getting some baseline in terms of the current situation, or anticipating the development of IR 4.0 and translate that into water needs in the future. Not just, again, not just the infrastructure, but also in terms of what kind of data that we need so that we can smoothly manage our water in the future as far as economy and environment is concerned. Yeah, that's what, I guess, what the 4.0 is all about.
It's to what I've understood, that we talk about IR 4.0 is more towards at all discipline, yes. Even in the social science, economics. It's a benefit for the for everybody. Yeah, yeah. Benefit for the user. we talk about marketing, operational, engineering, and also in the medical profession.
Yeah, because again, just like to add, because people may not, people may underestimate the power of water. For example, a country could be totally paralyzed if they're not managing our water properly. Shortage of water will paralyze the economy. So we would like to see whether we are able to face the challenge of IR 4.0 in as far as water is concerned. Do we have enough water? Do we have enough? Our infrastructure is ready? Do we have enough data to face all that? Yeah.
Yeah. For one of my information technology classes, we talk about we are overloaded with data.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are overloaded. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, doctor. I just take a question from the public. Is there any secretariat? Is there any question from the public, from the audience? I cannot see any question because I have a question for Prof. Zainul. I prepared a few. No, okay. Prof. Zainura, just a little bit on the abstract I've seen in the abstract is maybe you would like to elaborate on the just maybe an opinion, right? I've prepared a question regarding the what's your comment on the balance of water use, right? The water use, the consumption, and the social activities and the ecosystem. These are actually the challenges that we are facing now, apart from the climate change. Yeah, Prof. Zainura.
Okay, if you actually referring back to WST 2040, my slide earlier, if you actually recall, there are another projects with, our project is also looking at how we could better use our water to prepare for the future needs and population growth and so on. But also there's another project looking into water, energy, food nexus, which is actually looking at the interaction between this important element that requires water, or this important element actually synergizing with each other, water, energy, food and nexus. So as far as water is concerned, in terms of socio-economic and ecosystem, you're gonna have to, when we plan for example, a new development or a new cities or new township, normally the aspects of ecosystem is being left out. All right. So in terms of this, not only that we need to sustain the economic growth and to meet the social needs of the the resident and the future residents or businesses, commercial over there, for us to actually live in a healthy environment, we also need to consider the ecosystem, the water for the ecosystem, right? Because water the ecosystem service will provide long-term benefits to the area as well. So as far as this is concerned, that's why they have this, what we call environmental flow. On top of, quantifying water as far as socio-economic demands, we also need to take into consideration heavily what is the environmental flow. Making sure that whatever amount or whatever water we extracted from the water, from the resources, for example, river, will not in the long run degrade the river. Not degrade only in terms of pollution, but also in terms of quantity. So the river should remain alive, should be sustained, indefinitely, so that it will keep giving return the benefit, tangible, intangible, to the society. So here, this is very important in terms of water planning in the future. We need to consider all aspects of water, ecosystem, socio-economy, of course. All these need to be, quantified and planned at least for the next 10, 20 years. Yeah.
Yes, Prof. So I believe it should be, there are a lot of stakeholders involved. So, okay, Prof, I'll take one question here. Can Professor please deliberate if there are many fragmented approaches in the water industry? Yeah. And is there any needs to concert these efforts? For example, the Integrated River Basin Management, IRBM, and NAWAPS, and other river basin related projects. Prof?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the question. This is a very interesting questions. I know we realize, I think even the government realized that not just industry, but looking at the bigger picture, we have very fragmented governance approach. Perhaps that has become one of the contributing factors to our water issues or water security issues. You know, different authorities or different government has different authority towards water and different regulations. Sometimes we have overlapping, sometimes there are issues that we're not covering at all. If we talk about industry at the moment, I would have to say that most industry are still focusing on the end of pipe approach, and they are still relying heavily on regulation. If you take out the regulation, you know, maybe just a small portion of industry will self-regulate, make sure that they will not pollute the environment, for example. Okay, talk about the different approach in terms of integrated water management. So we have the IWRM, we have the IRBM, and then we have NAWAPS, the National Water Balance. So all this, again, being done by different government agencies. For example, JPS is, trying to have an integrated approach, or, starting triggered the IWRM or IBRM through NAWAPS, whereby me myself, we are involved in NAWAPS projects. So what the intention of JPS is actually to gather all elements relating to river basin management under one umbrella, which is NAWAP. So they've done this for different river basins in Malaysia. Well, I think this is a applaud. I mean, this effort should be applauded. We have a lot of data gathered since NAWAP has been launched a few years ago. But the issue is that not many agencies, even of course, especially industry, do not have access to this data. So for example, if new industry, they would like to set up a new development or new investment in a new river basin, and they would like to know whether, setting up, let's say they are very responsible, they would like to know whether setting up new industry or new investment in this particular river basin will give an impact to that particular river basin as far as pollution is concerned or water stress and so on. They do not have transparent access to this data. So I think this is the issues basically, whereby, Malaysia, like you were saying, we have a lot of data, we have done a lot of effort, but this data are not properly managed, and the transparency and the accessibility of the data is an issue.
Okay, Prof, my question on data, when I was dealing with the data as a quantitative person, is this data available free of charge?
Depending. So here that we are already over time, but I'm saying that it depends. So some, I would say that we should not charge the data, because the data should be used to for the betterment of the environment as well as far as water sector is concerned. But I know that some of this data requires effort and money to invest time, money, and to have that in a beautiful form, in an accessible form, and a form that we could easily use. But again, I think this to encourage people to actually use the data, we should adopt what have been done in other countries, especially developed country, whereby these data are made accessible, most of them free of charge. But of course, we have to have layers of accessibility. Not all data should be made public, but at least have some data that can be used by institution industry so that they can make better planning as far as water is concerned.
A very interesting session, Prof. Zainora. Since I've been notified by the organizer to stop.
Yeah.
So I wish everybody have got a new in-depth exposure, new literature. I think there's a new literature in this area, and hopefully can always access to Prof. Zainora articles on that subject. Okay, yeah. You can always Google, and you
can always contact me or go to our website, our center websites, and also our Facebook. If you have any issues, or you have anything as far as issues, or just want a consultation, just go to our website, or just contact me through my email. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That we thank Prof. Zainora from IPASA for the very wonderful presentation, and hope to see you in the next program, inshallah.
Thank you,
moderator. Okay, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Bye.
Okay, for